Welcome to the Taproom Exclusive. I am your host, Dean Zarbaugh. Today's show is sponsored by House of Helga. Are you a brewery looking for some vibrant, stunning artwork to slap on that freshly bottled or canned beer? Or maybe you're starting a brewery and need help coming up with a logo. If so, contact House of Helga for all your design needs. They've worked with Masthead, Streetside, and yours truly here at the Taproom Exclusive. You can check out Kyla's entire portfolio of incredible work at houseohelga.com. On today's show, I chat with Ralph Sgro, brewmaster for Terrestrial Brewing Company in Cleveland, Ohio, over their Public Pilsner. But first, a taste of what's going on in the craft beer world with this week's Tasting Glass, brought to you by Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News. The American craft beer bar and restaurant franchise Beerhead Bar and Eatery just launched their biggest undertaking yet. Beginning February 1st, all 8 Beerhead locations are launching Collab All February, debuting 50 Beerhead exclusive brews created in collaboration with 36 of the top brewers in the nation. For the past 6 months, the Beerhead team worked with some of the most established and sought-after brewers in the states where they have a restaurant to create and name each brew. Notable breweries include Old Irving Brewing Company, Pollyanna Brewing Company, Bee Nectar Meadery, Fatheads Brewery, and Nine Maidens Brewing. For more information on Collab All February, check out beerheadbar.com. Good news, Shea fans. According to our friends at Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News, Shea Brewing in Akron has signed a distribution deal. The 4-year-old brewery with 2 Akron locations, including a massive production facility which opened downtown late last year, will begin distributing 3 Legends New England IPA, West Coast Citra IPA, Towpath and Pale Ale, and Downtown Nut Brown to local grocery stores and bottle shops within the next few weeks. Seasonal can releases are also planned for distribution, and the brewery is fleshing out their full beer release calendar for 2020 over the coming days. Congratulations to everyone at Shea, and for more information, check out Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News on Facebook. Rick Armon of the Akron Beacon Journal is reporting that the wildly popular Summit Brew Path will return for its 4th year beginning on March 28, 2020. Also making a return is the Summit Brew Path Bash, which is a free party that will be held in January 2021 for those who complete the entire Summit Brew Path. The Brew Path is also expanding this year to include 83 Brewery in Akron, Ohio, Ohio Brewing in Cuyahoga Falls, and the new Shea Production Brewery at Canal Place in Akron. For more details on this story, check out Rick's article on beaconjournal.com. Enjoy a cold beer at Upside Brewing every Tuesday in February from 4 p.m. to midnight, and $1 will be donated to Nightingales Harvest for every pint you enjoy there. Nightingales Harvest is committed to providing healthy foods, hygiene, and cleaning products, all at no cost to cancer patients and their families. So be sure to stop into Upside Brewing every Tuesday in February to help out. And that's all for this week's Tasting Glass. My interview with Ralph Sgro from Terrestrial Brewing Company in Cleveland, Ohio is up next. Welcome to the Taproom Exclusive. I'm Dean Zarbaugh. I am here at Terrestrial Brewing Company with Ralph Sgro.
What's up?
Thank you for having me out today. I've been here a few times. I really like your guys' outfit out here. It's really nice. I hadn't been to this area before I had visited you guys the first time. This is a nice little area back here.
It's crazy, man. It's up and coming. I mean, it's completely different from when we broke ground, about 3.5 years ago over here. A lot has changed. So, it reminds me. I lived in California for a few years. It reminds me of like a little California suburb. Yeah,
type
absolutely.
Place.
We have the beach life over here,
You got Lake Erie right out here. Really nice views. What was it that got you started in building Terrestrial?
So, we're kind of scouting the area, and I've been in the brewery scene for a little bit. I came from a previous local brewery around here, and had the passion for it, had the bug. Always been home brewing and always loved to do that, and went pretty far down the rabbit hole with home brewing. Decided to just kind of start a project myself, met the right people, and scouting out areas. We walked over here. This place is an old battery factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was this side that we're on right now. Hasn't been occupied, and it was brand new. It was just an empty shell, so it was kind of an opportunity for us to literally just build from scratch. Everything completely open, so we're able to design everything how we wanted. Worked out. I mean, we're right on the lake. It's beautiful. I always wanted to work in paradise, and I get to look at the beach every day. It doesn't suck.
Are you from this area originally?
I grew up in Parma, is where I'm from. Did some studying at Kent State.
Okay.
And then got an internship downtown Cleveland. So took a job there and moved here and never left.
Nice. So Terrestrial, when did you guys actually open up here?
So we opened up April 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay, nice. It's been great to see the community gravitate towards you guys the way it has.
We're pretty unique. We try to do things a little bit different here. First of all, we're very taproom focused. Do little to no distribution. There's a couple bars and restaurants around Cleveland that we kind of handpick and we give them some product. But for the most part, our whole business plan, everything was, to sustain the tap room, essentially. We have a 5-barrel system, which is tiny in the grand scheme of, what all my buddies around town are brewing on. But, I really wanted to kind of become the best brewer that I can, and brewing in a smaller system means I'm brewing a lot more than my buddies around town. So just in that, the time on the system, the practice, I guess is what you can call it, that we get is pretty awesome. We can be really experimental, too, as we're not taking huge 20-barrel risks.
Right.
So, we try to be pretty whimsical or try to be daring, try to kind of push the boundaries of what beer is. And we've kind of developed a following for it, and people know they can come here and get something new every single time, which is pretty cool, and we can play around with a lot of new trends and kind of start our own trends, which is kind of cool. And secondly, we're dog-friendly, which is... You don't really get too much of that in Cleveland. We allow dogs everywhere in here.
Yeah,
it's a little crazy sometimes, but hey.
I think the first time I came in was for the brewery passport, the last one. Or no, I think I was here one time before that. But it was like a Sunday. And I just remember there being dogs everywhere. And I'm a huge dog person. So I was just like, this is... You talk about paradise. I was like, oh, sweet. I got all these dogs. I can just go around and ask people to pet these dogs. This is awesome. It's fun to see that you can have people come here and make it a community center like it has. You got that little park right next door that it fits with the dogs. I mean, it's just a really cool, there's walking paths, and I never knew this was all back here.
You wouldn't think it from, pulling up back in this neighborhood. It's, it's a little rough, and then all of a sudden you just get into this pocket of like, wow, where the hell did these people come from?
Yeah. And I think, has the Shoreway, all that helped bring people over now that they've redone and kind of...
Yeah, for sure. Even just the on-ramp here to get on the Shoreway, I mean... Everything is pretty cohesive over here. You can get downtown in 2 minutes, and there's a lot of local businesses that are popping up over here. Our neighbors over at Good Company next door. I mean, they're just awesome people to work with, and they really, really benefit the area.
Nice. And what's been the greatest thing for you to see in the 2 years that you've been open? As not only a co-owner, but as the brewmaster.
I mean, I love when people like our beer. I mean, they come here, they brag about it to their friends, and that's a good feeling. Just having a place that we've made, we're providing an awesome space where people have really good experiences in. We've had people get married here. We've had we've had a lot of people on their first dates here, and it's pretty cool to be able to provide that space for people to do cool things in. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. I've heard of places having had weddings and stuff there, but I didn't know you guys had
have had that as well.
Yeah.
And
people ask all the time, and it's tough. Like, I don't want to close on a Friday for you to get married, but
right, like that's a big day for you guys. It's like prime business. But no, you gotta, if you want to. You want to make people happy, but you also got to balance the business needs too.
And other than that, like, all our charitable causes, we do a lot of stuff for animals and environment. I'm really, really proud of that aspect of what we do. We've donated, about $5,000 to spotted turtles,
nice.
Save them in Ohio, which are an endangered species. We did a whole conservation series with the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoological Society. And we raised about $4,000 for several different animal species. We're doing something on the 15th of February. Yeah, I have no idea what day it is. To help Australian wildlife for
nice.
all the brush fires and stuff that they have going on out there. So that that stuff makes me proud, and I love being a part of stuff like that.
Absolutely, and that's we were talking a little bit before we went on air about why I started doing the podcast, and it seems since I've been doing this, the thing I've gravitated to the most is the community mindedness of this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been really fun to get to talk to people and get to know different people and how they approach brewing, and it just the coming together of everybody it's really cool. You don't see that very often, and there's that competitiveness between everybody, but at the same time, we all recognize that, we're all in it together.
Yeah, it's cool. We do rely a ton on each other, and if I have a question about brewing a boring German-style beer, I'm calling Sean from Noble Bees. If he wants to know about brewing with cotton candy, he'll give me a call.
There you go. See, everybody's got their own little thing. If you want smoked beer, you go to Sean too.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about about Public Pilsner. Did I get the name right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I forgot to turn my phone on. Public Pilsner. I love a Pilsner style. Talk a little bit about this beer and why you chose to go with that.
Yeah, so it's one of the few beers that we make pretty much all year round. Actually, can pretty much guarantee it's going to be all year round. And it's kind of a unique Pilsner. We use kind of an experimental yeast. I don't know if it's experimental anymore. It was when we started using it. But it's actually a high-pressure lager yeast,
okay, which
is really interesting. So rather than fermenting at cold temperatures like your typical lager yeast would, it ferments pretty close to an ale temperature, but under a pretty great amount of pressure. So about 15 psi is what it'll ferment out at.
Okay.
And within that process, it pretty much mimics your typical lager yeast, and I can crank them out in about 5 weeks rather than 8 or 9 weeks like your typical Pilsner, which is really, really cool. Had brewed a Baltic Porter with it once, and then decided, hey, let's try to do something a little more delicate. And we love it. So that's something we have all the time. Super, super classic, crisp flavors. It's super easy drinking. You have to have a, dare I say it, dad beer on the list. But it tends to be the beer that I drink pretty much the most here while working and not working.
Well, it seems that's the trend with a lot of the brewers around town is the work beer seems to be the lighter option to have, so you can have maybe more than just one without, maybe messing up a batch or something.
You get into the craft drinking IPAs with 55 pounds of hops in them, and you slowly drift away to I just want a beer that reminds me of college,
right? I just there's sometimes when I just get off of work where I just want a beer.
Right.
And it's just
no frills.
I don't want to think
beer.
about it. I just want to enjoy it and relax after maybe a hectic day and just okay.
Right.
And I think that's a great style, and I like that I'm seeing a lot more places go into that Pilsner lighter like lager category.
And it shows I guess I kind of equate it to like asking a chef to make a soup or something like that. It's
Right.
like it's easy, but it's really easy to screw up as well. So
Yeah.
it kind of shows your technical side too. And despite me, and Drew being who's my brewer here with me, despite being experimental and being weird, we still do have a technical side to us, and we are phenomenal brewers, and we can make a Pilsner soup for you.
And you will enjoy it.
Yes, it will taste cold.
And that's what I want, man. That's what I want. What was it that made you go, I want to brew beer originally? Like, what made you step into like did you home brew?
Yeah, for sure. I guess. So, really, I guess it kind of came down to like money. I wanted a cheap beer. Maybe, I don't know. Just like any hobby, I probably did it once and was like, oh, damn, this is pretty fun. I want to get into it. Start out with extract brews. And I think even our first extract brew we ever did, we messed with the hop bill and, got a kick out of that. And during that brew day, I think we ate hop pellets. I think we might even smoke hop pellets. I don't know. But it was just a fun experience. And, after doing it a couple times, we were like, all right, this is actually now I want to buy a mash tun and actually do all grain batches. And yeah, and then after 50 something odd batches, trying to make the next step of what can we do. But yeah, found out there's a ton of science to it. It's kind of a little bit like cooking, where you can throw in a dash of this, a dash of that. And I mean, it really is an art form, as lame as that sounds. But you can, you put your own twist on things, spin on things. It's you express yourself through it. So
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that aspect. I think Drew did too. Drew's a little more math than science. Not quite feels, but
With the public pills, what's the ABV?
so we shoot for 5%.
Nice.
We get it damn near most of the time. I appreciate 3% Pilsners and stuff like that, but we wanted something with a little more spunk to it.
Yeah, I it's the same thing. I like them, but it's like when you try to sell it, it doesn't always grab somebody's attention,
Right.
Other than somebody like us who just appreciates it.
Right.
If somebody was going to eat with it, have some food, what would you recommend?
I mean, it's like a good pizza.
Oh yeah,
Good pizza beer. I mean, I should say tacos because we serve tacos here. But I'm going to say tacos to that every time you ask me that question. No, I mean, it'd be good substitute for like soda or something for pizza. That's what I like.
Well, yeah. Do you guys do to go like crowlers or growlers?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if somebody were taking it home and
Oh, yeah.
wasn't just sitting here to enjoy the tacos, there are other options.
Right.
So if you are to go, there's that. But if you're here, the tacos. But anything else about public? I cannot talk today. Public Pilsner.
It is kind of a tongue twister.
That I might not have covered that you want to get out about it.
No, pretty much that's it. I mean, I guess that's a lot of the times. So we have an infusion tower here, which I don't know if any of you guys out there are familiar with. It's basically a Randall, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a vessel that we shove ingredients into, and it basically flash infuses the beer as it's traveling through that vessel.
Okay.
So our infusion tower most of the time contains Pilsner because that infusion tower is hooked up to our largest beer bright, which is typically what our Pilsner's in.
Okay.
So, basically every time you come here, you can get, Pilsner a different way, I guess. Right now I think it's blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries.
Oh, nice.
And, takes a classic and makes it a little more fun. If you want a little something more fun.
Yeah, it goes to more of that experimenting, the fun
For sure.
experimenting
And
side
we've done
of the
some
brewing.
weird stuff in that too. We've done some weird stuff.
Nice. Well, we can get into that on next week's episode. Tune in next time for another all-new episode of the Taproom Exclusive.